The book is Be the Architect of Your Own Life, and with us is the author, Karen Otis. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Now, I gather you are an actual architect.
23 years, been designing buildings, yes.
Let me ask you something. Whatever caused you to apply the paradigm of architecture to this thing called self-help, your own life?
Right now, my life is pretty great. You know, I consider it a life inspired. It's fantastic. I met the love of my life 6 years ago. We beautifully built a home together that we moved into recently. My life is great, but it wasn't always like that. About 12 years ago, my husband of 12 years, I discovered he'd been having an affair for 3 years, right under my nose. And I was devastated. I remember sitting on the floor in the kitchen just sobbing, thinking, how am I going to put my life together and that of my 2 young kids? And I lost everything. I lost my money. I lost, my self-esteem was gone. And I lost that faith and trust in my intuition. So I tried everything to fix it. Every self-help book. I discovered I was from Venus, not Mars. And it helped a lot, but didn't quite fix my problems.
Right.
And nothing worked. I had great friends, great therapists, you name it. And it just, I couldn't put the pieces together. So instead of looking outward to all these other sources, I looked inward and I thought, all right, I know a little about rebuilding something. Maybe I should rebuild my life.
Right.
So that's what I did.
You know something about rebuilding. You know something about creating a foundation that's firm. You know something about creating a structure that will last.
And one that is inspired and, full of spirit.
Do you feel like you have brought that level of soul and spirit and inspiration to the design of your current life?
Yes. I took the steps I know in architecture, and there are 8 that I use every time I design a building, and I applied them directly to my life, and I rebuilt it pretty much from scratch on those 8 steps.
All right. 8, I don't have time for. 2, I do.
Okay. First one is a site study. I go to where that project's going to sit, right, the location. And I look at it and I study the site. I look at what is great about it. Is there an ocean view that I need to capitalize on? Are there things that look permanent but are not helping us out? They need, to get out of the way. They need to be demolished. When you're doing that with your life, what's interesting is sometimes we think something is so permanent and we're building our life around it, but really it's not serving us anymore. And when you really start to focus on that site that you're going to rebuild your life on, that might be something that you need to let go of.
All right. Step 2.
Step 2, history. Architecture has rich history. It all comes from somewhere. There was, the wall became a column, etc. So in our lives, we too are products of our history. I'm sure where you are today has come from a whole lot that happened to you on the way and a lot of decisions you made on the way. So for me, I realized I had a whole lot of history that was really just a pattern, a repetitive pattern that was not serving me well. So I look at that history and just like I do, at architecture, and I start to see what is something that needs to be changed. What pattern isn't working?
There was one line in your book that I'll never forget. A lot that I won't forget, but there was one that really stuck with me, which is, in your universe, a door is not a door is not a door. What do you mean by that as we wrap up?
Well, you need to look at you need to turn your thinking on its head. So a door can look like anything. It's just a passageway. It doesn't need to look like this rectangular wood or metal opening.
In other words, you don't have to be carrying out someone else's design or script for your life.
Right. You need to make it yours, align it with your soul. When you think creatively, that comes from our soul.
Very intriguing stuff. Karen Otis, author of Be the Architect of Your Own Life. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much. It was really a pleasure.